Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great week and that you enjoyed that 2 hour delay on Monday. A Monday and a 2 hour delay, that's not too bad. So, today I want to hit on a topic that students brought up in my Google form, and that is boundaries and how to set them and not let people walk all over you. So, my this little square, we're going to pretend this is my boundary. This is my bubble. And I have my little me in here. So this is my bubble. This is my personal space, which, people need to respect and not get in my space. Now, if I choose to leave my space, that's my prerogative. That's my choice. But people still need to respect this box and the boundaries that I express, whether I'm in the box or outside of the box. So, we are going to talk about healthy boundaries. What are they? How to communicate healthy boundaries. And I just want to kind of put out there, having boundaries is not being rude. It's not being a jerk. It's not being bossy. We all have boundaries, whether we realize it or not. We have emotional boundaries, personal space boundaries, mental boundaries, verbal boundaries, physical boundaries. Like, we have lots of boundaries, and many times we don't even realize what our boundary is until someone has crossed it. So having boundaries actually, and communicating them, actually makes us a strong, confident person. So what are boundaries? Boundaries are a set of rules or guidelines that we set for how people treat us or how we want people to treat us. So boundaries are rules that we set that show people how to treat us. So some examples: please don't talk to me like that, or hey, I'm not comfortable with that, or hey, I need space. You're a little too close, standing a little too close. I need some space. Boundaries protect us, protect our feelings, protect our time, protect our energy, and most importantly, they protect our relationships and make sure that our relationships are staying healthy and in a good space. So we want to think of boundaries as kind of an invisible fence. No one else can see them, but we know where the lines are for our invisible fence. Other people may not until we communicate that. So invisible fences are not meant to keep everyone out and keep us away from people, but it's meant to protect us, and that's what matters. So a myth about boundaries and establishing boundaries. Some people think that when you have boundaries or communicate boundaries, that you're being mean or that you're angry or something like that. And I just want to say that is not true. If we think about some movie characters or even real people in our life, even strong characters like Black Panther, led with a calm confidence, not anger, but a calm confidence. You knew where the boundaries are. And when we express where our boundaries are, healthy boundaries are calm, not loud, not dramatic, not disrespectful, not rude, and not angry. If we're communicating something in that way, it's because maybe we've been pushed a little too far and we haven't been maybe as firm with a boundary as we may need to be. And the person is not listening and not responding appropriately to what we're asking. And if that's the case, we need to reevaluate the relationship. Because if we are friends with someone and we care about the friendship, then we need to listen when they're expressing a boundary. We need to listen to that and respect that. If we're not, then that's just not a healthy friendship. So boundaries are calm, clear, confident, and direct. So these are signs that you may need some boundaries or better boundaries. Do you say yes when you really want to say no? Do you feel drained after hanging out with certain people? Do you laugh when someone hurts your feelings? Do you avoid speaking up because you don't want drama? If you said yes to these, then you need some stronger boundaries, and that's okay. We all learn and grow and figure out how to create those boundaries and be confident in expecting people to respect those boundaries. But we can learn how to do that. So this is how to express a healthy boundary. The first step to expressing a healthy boundary is we want to keep it short. We don't want to be going on and on and on about what our boundary is. We want to keep it short, so you don't need a long speech. Just simply saying something. Well, first let's say what not to say. So this is one example of how to not set a boundary. I'm sorry, but maybe, I mean, gosh, if you don't mind, could you possibly not say that to me? That's not a boundary. There's no confidence in that. There's no surety in that of being sure that this is what you want. So nobody's going to take that seriously. But keeping it short and being direct, calm, and not angry, this is an appropriate way to establish a boundary. Hey man, I don't like that when you do that or when you say that about me. Hey, please stop. Or that does not work for me. What you just did or what you just said does not work for me. Short is strong, a strong message. Now, I've mentioned a couple of times so far, having and establishing and verbalizing a boundary, we need to do it kindly and with respect towards that person. And so it's not just the words that we say that are kind or respectful, it's our tone, it's our facial expression, it's our body language that goes with the message. We have to be careful that we are expressing it in a way in which someone is actually going to listen. If we're being angry and we're yelling it, or we're degrading the other person as we're communicating our boundary, they're not really going to listen. They're tuning you out, and they're going to probably do the opposite of what you're asking them to do. I've talked to some students who are just like, well, they're not going to treat me that way. And you know what? I get it. You're reacting that way because your feelings are actually hurt. And you're kind of surprised that this person is treating you this way. But reacting with anger, giving a reaction of irritation isn't going to correct the situation. You might have to step away from the situation and calm yourself down and then go back to the person and say, hey, earlier when you said XYZ, that really hurt my feelings. And I would just really appreciate it if you did not say that again. Okay. Number 2, to setting a healthy boundary, use calm energy. Just like what I said, you don't have to yell. Confidence is quiet. When I think about some of the most confident people around me and in my life, they're the calmest, most chill, relaxed people that I know. It's because they know themselves and they're okay with themselves, and they are okay with expressing their needs and their wants in a way in which people are going to probably pay attention. Instead of "stop being rude," we just need to say, "Hey, I don't like being talked to that way. Please don't do that." Same message, different power. Step 3, sometimes we have to be a broken record with our boundaries. Some people like to test our boundaries. Some people forget that we've expressed a boundary to them. So if they overstep and break your boundary and they say, "Oh, I'm just joking," you may need to repeat yourself in your boundary. "Hey, remember I said I don't like that when you say that or when you do that." No extra explaining. You may have to repeat your boundary to people several times in several situations, with family, with friends, and with that person until they start to change their behavior. Now, if after 3, 4, 5 times, and they're not changing their behavior, it's probably a sign they're not going to change their behavior. So then maybe you need to distance yourself from that person in that relationship. Don't laugh it off if somebody crosses your boundary, because this makes them think that it is funny and that they shouldn't take you seriously. So be calm, repeat your boundary, and then move on. Not letting people walk all over you. So let's talk about 3 maybe common middle school scenarios. The first one, a friend says, hey, let me copy your answers. So a boundary option in that is to say, "Hey, I can sit with you and help you understand the work, but I'm not going to show you my work." You're not being mean, you're protecting yourself, and you are letting them know that you're not cool with that. Situation 2, someone says, "Relax, gosh, it's just a joke." You can say, "Hey, it didn't feel like a joke to me, so please don't do that again." Boom. Respect. It's said respectfully, it's said clearly. Situation 3, if a friend is expecting you to be available 24/7, and if you don't respond to that message like ASAP, they get all upset and bent out of shape, you can respond with, "Hey, I need you to know I'm not going to be available right away every single time. So I will respond to you when I'm available." Um, and that is a clear boundary. You're allowed to have space. So when you start setting boundaries, some people might say, "Gosh, you've changed," or "You're being so sensitive," or "You're being dramatic." What that often means is they're not comfortable with some of these things that you're verbalizing. And that's okay that they're not comfortable with it. It doesn't mean if they're not comfortable that it's not okay to have those boundaries. Growth is uncomfortable at first, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong. So, healthy boundaries don't push people away. They teach people how to treat you so you can be kind, be respectful, and still say no. It's not rude. It's just simply having self-respect. And self-respect, that is having a little bit of control and power in your life. So I want you guys to remember that you deserve respect and your voice matters, and you can be kind and set limits and boundaries anytime you need to. So I want you guys to take some time to talk about what makes it hard to set boundaries and what in our steps are you going to try to implement. I hope you guys have a great day. And if you need any help setting boundaries, come and let me know. Talk to you later. Bye.